GetCrack. Wake up, motherfucker.
Yo, what's up? All right. So we're going to test some new things here. I got this Restream. All right. So it should be the same thing as StreamYard's, pretty much in capabilities on the back end. So I should be able to play videos through their system without hogging my resources. So let's see if that works. All right. And we'll go from there. It's May 12th, 2026. Okay, there's a lot of drama going on, okay, with John Galt and all that. So he had to take away all the StreamYards access to everyone. Somebody's trying to mess with him right now. And yeah, so this gives me an excuse to try this out. I was thinking of using it anyway. I see Matt using it. I know that it's like one of the ones that have a free level where you could just use multi-stream, because StreamYards, if you want a multi-stream, you gotta pay them. All right, the free streaming package for StreamYards doesn't allow that, right? So let's see if this is better performance. It seems better. I've been testing it today, like playing videos and stuff. It looks like it's cleaner. It's more efficient. Their data centers aren't being attacked all the time, I guess. And great, good stuff. Why not use it? Yeah, well, Galt is barring the gates. I think he didn't know which email was whose, and then he just got rid of everybody's thing. Universal Jones might still have access, but I don't know why he still had old accounts having access to his channel, because yesterday someone went on there to restream CT show while John was up there. Like, there's something fishy going on. Okay? There is some fishy shit going on in Black YouTube. I think there has been very little drama. Imperius went around and knocked off all the little channels, the orbiting channels, because the channels that came around were essentially orbits of orbits. Like, you have CT, right? And then around CT, you had Gospel of Bob. So Bob's channel, Bob is CT's main producer slash pay pig. And then you had like the whole like Gospel of Bob implosion. So all the orbiters from him left away. So it's an orbiter within another orbiter. And then Imperius went around and started going to each channel and screwing over everyone. And now that everybody just like went away because of the Imperius stuff, there was no more drama. And all of a sudden yesterday, Bob kicked up drama again with John Galt. John Galt didn't actually want drama with Bob. Like, Bob kicked John off of his channel one time, and John was like, "All right, fine. I won't show up again. Who cares?" But then he reignited the beef with John. Are the super chats and cash apps so low that you needed to kick up some drama? Maybe. So I would be really hesitant about this because it seems very fishy. It's like it was all scripted, it was all planned to make John go at them. And if somebody goes around trying to strike John's channel, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Somebody's playing a game. Like, somebody's really like there are enemies of Bob. There are also enemies of John Galt. And both of those camps will take advantage of this situation. CT doesn't care. CT will get the money regardless, right? He gets all the drama. People put in cash apps, and he wipes away his hands of it. He's gonna have plausible deniability. I'm just a moderator. I'm just a host. It's wild out here in Boyd, man. It's wild. Just because you don't get a lot of AdSense and stuff, who knows? All right, back to stocks. WTI and 2-year notes. Yeah, I also the bet like USD yen has gone up pretty wildly too. I think the Bank of Japan is going to have a hard time trying to stop it. They only have maybe 2 more shots at trying to stop it this year, and if they do it anymore, they're going to be outside of the international law because they signed the agreement with the IMF, right? So anybody who plays ball with the International Monetary Fund should not be manipulating their currency X more number of times over the year. Yeah, I saw your comment about day trading. Yeah, day trading, most people are not good at it. Very few. Um, and even if you are good at it, most of the time you have to just do very small increments of gains. Like you basically only do very little bit by bit, right? Like so I said like okay, you have to make 10% over a certain number of trades over a quarter. And can you do that? That's very hard already. Most people probably don't even go for that. They'll just like get a few $100 and they move on to the next day or like the next trade every day. It's more like work. When you do day trading, it feels like work. I don't understand why anybody would do it unless they're so good and so consistent that they keep um that they try to compound the gains, like I said before. If you don't do it like that, I don't understand why you would do it. There was the guy CKJ3. He was here. He did futures trading. So in the futures trading, he would just do like very short trades over very few candles. He'll get his money, like $500. He'll move on to the next day. That's what he did. Yeah, that's all he did. Very consistent, right? And he only did one thing, like the S&P futures, the one thing. There was another chick that came on John Galt's channel on panel, T Spells. I saw her one time on this show, like in the chat. So she's still around, but I haven't seen her around like the other channels. So she probably pokes her head in from time to time. But she was like, "Oh, I don't use the S&P futures. I use the Dow Jones futures." She was like, "That was my thing." So some day traders only do one stock, one instrument, and they don't go and deviate from that. They get used to the pattern of that, the way it moves over time, and they understand like, oh, this is the point where it's the best time to buy and sell, and they'll just wait for that moment and do it. They have to be very methodical, very patient. If you I mean, I guess I could just go over an example. Like if I was day trading, this is what I would do, but everyone has their own way. Some other people, they'll use like the tape to read the tape. So we kind of mentioned that a little bit, but then you have to pay for a subscription fee to get that data. Okay, strong couple of days for lithium. Yeah, I noticed that. Also, fertilizer. Yeah, we had a second good day on fertilizer. So if you see the thing scrolling at the bottom, yeah, you'll see the fertilizer tickers that I mentioned. Uh, okay, let's see. I'm here now as Dead Man's covering boring part of his channel. Oh, all right. Thanks for showing up, Ugh. Yeah, I gave Deadman the John Galt stuff. I said you better cover this. He could have milked that longer than he did. Like I noticed that he just skipped around and whatever. Bro, doing the man, when the black sphere gets into drama mode, it's way more interesting, you know. But you have to be there and understand like all the players. If you don't know the lore, it's really hard to do it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, for me, I just do swing trading. You see me what I do, right? I just go like, well, this can last me a week or two or a month. That's the most I'll do, swing trading. Sometimes I'll do a day trade if it's so obvious. Sometimes I'll do a 2-day trade, right? Very short-term swing trading, kind of like a day trade. Yeah. Bob's channel, let's see. Bob's channel was never hidden. It was like a hangout channel. It was essentially to replace John Galt. Like John Galt was more of the way we were thinking of doing the 24-hour thing was we were catering to everyone. We had everything for everyone. It was like hangout for the nighttime, during the day. It was like news oriented. Um, over like the early morning was like the trucking show. You could just be like talking random shit like conspiracies, or have the drug addicts go on there and talk whatever they wanted to talk to. It was crazy. It was great. It was a great experiment. I keep getting a lot of empty lithium spot loads. mm, mm. Man, wheat went up too. It was up 7%. Uh-oh. So it's so we had soybean oil for the first part of the year. Now wheat's catching up. That's what I expected. And that means like the other ones will probably go up as well, all together. That's oh, yeah, that means like the next big trade to make will be in grains. Yeah, food grains. Yep, that'll be the next step. All right, let me get my music going here. Let me get my music going. How about this one? Very chill. I don't know. I like this layout. I think this is very clean. They got going here. Yeah, it was an amazing time. I mean, the Thorpes hated it. Like the Thorpes were like, man, like I think Grace and Ben always thought like I was trying to make an alternative channel to compete with them. The truth is, it was supposed to be more of a, it was like a minor league. That's how I always envisioned it. Mark Fusion saw immediately what like the John Galt channel was trying to do at that time. He was just like, yeah, it's just like a place where you just find new talent, and the new talent will move on to CT or the Thorpes. And the funny thing is, like with the whole drama now, like the whole drama now with Bob, I feel like it's a leftover from that time too. It's like CT, the drama with CT and Portia had something to do with me leaving as well. Like I stopped being a pay pig for CT and the Thorpes at the same time. It was like, why am I paying for something I don't even have time to watch? I'm too busy on the John Galt 24/7 channel now and supporting it. So I feel like there probably was some animus. Like I'm using animus now because like Ben was using animus. Man, once Ben latches on to like a big word, he'll just use that forever. He just kept repeating animus. Now I'm using animus now. Oh man. All right. So yeah, there's probably been some bad blood building for a while, and this is what's happening. Okay, you mentioned monthly options expert. Yes, that is what's happening. We're going to get into that. Yes, options expiration. Correct. Is there drug ETF? Yes, MSOS, cannabis, right there. There's no hallucinogenic ETF, I don't think. There might be. There's new ETFs every day. I can't keep track of it. But the three stocks down here, UGG, ATAI, CMPS, DFTX, those three, you see it scrolling down beneath you? Those three are hallucinogenic pharmaceutical companies right there. I've had to learn a lot of ways to bypass hazmat stuff lately because of it. They'll even just do 2 pallets at a time because it's easier to cover. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of demand for lithium, I'm sure. Thank you. Yes, I know. I have to pick a lot about the music. HBCT had drama. Yeah, it was because of Portia and apparently CT's wife, because at that time CT just got married and there was some bad blood there. But maybe it was just an excuse to have bad blood for some. Maybe it was just building up to something, and the whole like John taking HB and Portia away from CT really got him going. You know what I mean? And maybe it's like Bob and CT feel threatened that maybe John is taking away Be Brave from them, or like who knows, right? The same thing with John and JP. Like John was trying to take JP away, or that's what they claim. I wasn't paying too close to attention to JP's little side quest where he was just going around different channels. And then he started, like JP started his own channel before getting flagged immediately. Be Brave started his own channel when he got booted off of like CT's, and then that got flagged some months down the line too. It was like weird ass shit. No, it's not triple witching. Triple witching is next month, every 3rd month. So the 3rd month. So that means like January, February, March, right? March. So 3rd week of the 3rd month, March. And then after March, right, we go to June, right? So the 3rd week of the third month again. It repeats. Yep. Yep. You see those? Good. CT's wife and yeah, I don't know. Maybe Porsche had a beef with his wife, or maybe his wife had something to do with Porsche. I don't know. I'm not in the Discord. It seemed to me all Discord stuff, and I just ignored it. I just kept my mouth shut. This is the first time I'm talking about this, because like this whole Bob stuff kicking like all the drama up has me really suspicious. And it's affecting me, right? Because now like I got booted off of StreamYards, which is fine. I was gonna leave StreamYards anyway. I got so sick of the last few streams where like stuff didn't work. Like totally annoying, right, guys? Yeah. So all right, but we'll see. Probably if I get back on the StreamYards, yeah, I can do separate streams on John's again. And we'll kind of, I guess I'll have to figure out what kind of schedules I want to make. I kind of want to make it more scheduled. All right. Okay, that's enough of that. Talking too much about the drama, but it's really bizarre. Really bizarre. I think you should talk to Universal Jones. It's always Discord, man. Yeah, it's always Discord. People there like are sick of, like they just love the drama. And then the guys who like claim they're not into the drama are always the ones that cause the drama. Like, are they just fucking liars, dude? And they say I'm the one trying to cause drama or make gossip. I just do it because I know you guys are watching. So, shit. To me, it's funny. It's like, okay, you see, Hut. This is what you want to see, guys. Hut. Okay, that means forget it. Go leverage. Hut G. So this is what you want to see. While semiconductors was taking a shit, look at what Hut was doing. Hut was barely going down. It didn't even touch the bottom of this range, and then it recovered with the rest of the market, and it recovered strong. This is what you want to see. Man, we're gonna break out soon. I don't know, but if we can get, oh man, this is, dude, there's nothing above it. I don't know how high this will go. Maybe I'll make some estimates tomorrow, but once we clear of this week, so starting Monday, like maybe after Monday, maybe next Tuesday, right, when all the options get cleared out, let's see Hut like make it to 200. Come on, it could go up really quickly. Okay, APLD did all right. Yeah, it held the range. That's good. It lost like the position that it was yesterday at the top, so fine. I think it's number 2. So I think Hut number 1, APLD number 2. Okay, we're gonna still have to wait for MBIS earnings. Earnings will be, what is it? Tomorrow morning. Sweet. Perfect. Okay, so we'll see if tomorrow morning we see a new contender in our game. Okay, HIM's earnings, I think you guys saw, did not do good, and then it ended like this. So we look at it. It touched the red line. Very interesting, right? So I don't think, there's a problem with that red line. If it holds that red line, maybe I'll buy it. So I've been waiting for this to decide if I want to get in this again. Yeah, maybe. HIM's is a maybe. Rocket Lab, it held it held itself pretty well today. So perfect. I think Rocket Lab will stay up here for a while. Let's see till Friday. Maybe if we get another second crash coming down the line, we can go and check it out. So it'll be good. Hut ready to fly. Yeah, Hut ready to fly. I bought Hut low and sold also. Oh, you're welcome, Built to Spill. You're welcome. You did it. You picked the right time to sell, right? Just that momentum getting added to the NASDAQ 100 was very suspicious to me. Why did they do it on a Monday of an option expiration week? Did they know Monday was the best time to just sucker everyone in for the rest of the week? I think they did. Yeah. So PLD, yeah. So I think this is good. Those things, let's focus on those. Okay, let's focus on those. That's it. I wish I could focus on more things, but I don't think I want you guys to try too many different stocks as we get closer and closer to June. We need to see how we get towards June before I go like, oh, okay, you guys might try other things. For now, let's be careful this week. Yeah. All right, so what else? Okay, since we had MOS earnings on Monday and they made CF Industries go up, this guy, okay, maybe this is the stock for you guys for the fertilizer. Okay, CF, IPI, number 2. Oh man, it's coming back to 59. 49. IPI is going up there. LXU, I don't know if I want to recommend a third one right now, but I'll put that under advisement. CF and IPI, those 2 fertilizer stocks. So the rest of them are trash, forget about it. Wheat went up. So if you want some exposure to wheat, corn, soybean, sugar, TILL, ETF, okay? And the reason I mentioned this one was because it doesn't give you that K1 tax form. That K1 tax form is so annoying to do. If you guys have an accountant, you already have like a really good tax guy, it probably is fine. They should be able to handle this. Because if you do this yourself with TurboTax or whatever, it's a pain. It's a total pain. So I don't like K1s. So I only would say that if you really wanted to get into wheat, there is an ETF for wheat by itself, WEAT, but you're gonna get that K1 form. It's made by the same company that did the TILL, okay, the Tecrium. So these guys make ETFs for the soybean, wheat, sugar. I think they make the sugar one too, right? Cane. Yeah, they make the cane one. Yeah, cane and corn. And recognize that the way they spell wheat for the ETF, there's no H, so it's purposely misspelled. There's only 4 letters. They only want 4 letters, so WEAT. So don't type in WHEAT and then try to buy something. I don't think there's a stock that has that. Okay, there's no stock. Okay, so that's it. Okay, I think you guys understand. Good. Anything else? Gold. I don't know. I'm really indifferent about gold. Technically, I feel like gold, I mean, yeah, the gold miners here, they should try to go up till June. Okay, I'll keep an eye on it. Like, you can get JDXU and see if like it breaks the pink area here. So let me see. So GDXU defended today. Okay, wait till Friday. Yeah, wait and see. I don't know if Trump's gonna attack Iran or something. There's all these rumors flying around because so he's gonna meet with the Xi right now. I think probably right now. Like he's probably already in China. So I guess we'll wait and see. I don't know if anything's gonna happen there. Okay. Let's see what's oil doing. Nothing much. Okay, nothing much in oil. And then US 2-year, yeah, because today we had inflation numbers and it was bad. Like, okay, I think everybody should expect inflation numbers to be bad. What did you expect? So the stock market ignored gasoline prices going up and diesel prices going up and they assume inflation was gonna be good. What are you talking about? I don't understand it. So I don't even care about the numbers. It's like, why do you even have to see the numbers? You know inflation is going up. Who cares? Why did all the stock market ignore it? Right? That's what everybody is asking. It was like, what? Everybody's buying Intel and semiconductors. They don't care about the economy. Yeah, I guess not. I guess that's how it always is. The market always runs where it wants to run. So we already met our targets. So yeah, if we break out here above 4% on the 2-year, goodbye everything. So semiconductors finally got some kind of a significant red day. You saw it like nearly hit what negative 7% about. I think that's going to stop it from moving up. Maybe. Let me see. 78-minute chart. So the last time we had something like this happen was after the Intel, right? People were just, I guess, taking some profit. That's what I think. I know there was some news, but I don't think the news was the reason. It's just an excuse. I'm pretty sure people were just like, well, everything's went up so well that we're going to take some profit. And then after that, they just ran back in and bought everything up again and pushed it even higher. So the last time that we had a dip was around here. So I'm going to say that this zone created by this little action, May 6th to May 7th, will set where we want to be. If semiconductors want to continue on, then tomorrow we should just see it rally back right back up. If we don't, guess what? It's just going to roll back over and retouch this area. And what I'm thinking is that for the rest of the week, we just start building a new range out here. So there's going to be a new low this week, which is either going to be as low as this one last Thursday, or maybe it's going to go a lot lower and return back to 462, which is when Intel reported earnings. So 489 on SOXX, maybe 462 later on. So watch it. Watch those levels. That's what I think we're going to be. Okay. Let's see. Did we talk about Trump waiving? I heard about that. It's not going to affect California much. California, like, at the pump taxes are very high. That's probably only going to shave like maybe less than 1% of what we got. And then we have the refineries. You have to understand, California refineries need crude oil from the Gulf. Okay, not the Gulf of America, the Persian Gulf, because they require the dirty crude that comes from there. The refineries in California cannot handle the light crude that comes from the United States. The United States fracking crude is light crude. They have very little sulfur content. Okay, so they want that dark, black, dirty, viscous crude oil from the Persian Gulf. And we did not spend any money to build refineries that could handle different type of crude. So we're screwed. The last shipment of crude was made like either today or a few like days ago. That's it. That was the last shipment of crude that we're going to get. So if you think we could just take crude from Texas or anything, no. We can't handle that kind of crude. We're screwed. Yeah, we're screwed. Okay, fish taco. Oh, you want another taco trade? Very nice. Let's see. New low hype. Yes, new low hype. I hope so. That means that the money getting out of semiconductors will finally go elsewhere. Please go to HUT. Please go to mRNA. Please go anywhere else. I just want, or software, right? Oracle, wherever. Go over there. Go over there. Yeah. I would be surprised too. I don't think it's gonna happen. Acid reflux taco. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. Okay, let's see. The U.S. will join China, Russia, Iran, and leave the Western Alliance. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Europe is on its own, right? Yeah. Fuck Europe. Okay. Oh, no. I don't know. Do you have any certified financial planner? No, I don't. No, I can't. You know, one of the first shows I said, like, people were like, "Oh, why don't you manage my money?" No. Okay, look. I'm not licensed, and the thing is that being a financial planner is different from telling you how to trade or invest. Like, you're looking at charts. Like, there's a big difference, right? I gotta know taxation scenarios for you. I also have to know, like, you know, your retirement plan. I have to know where your goals are for, like, oh, I want to take X number of vacations this year. You know, that's a whole different game. That's why they get paid a lot of money for that kind of advice. Look at that 40 swing. Yeah, I know, man. That's why people love it. But the thing is, if you can't time it, I don't touch it. Another space stock. I know about that one. Yeah, I know about that one. We'll see if that's we're willing to play other ones. I only know Rocket Lab, ASTS. I don't like to learn the other ones because, like, if you look at this, I don't think it has a lot of history, right? It's a brand new stock, pretty much. Yeah, I think it's fairly new. So this doesn't have much history compared to the others. If it does break the, what is this? I guess it IPO'd at 64. Okay, well, I don't know if it's gonna go back up there. That's kind of a thing you have to see. Wheat can go any lower. I think you have a better time to go in on wheat some other time. I don't want to waste my time with the grains at this point because they went up already because of the oil, energy, crisis, I guess you want to say. So I mean, they were already going into it, or they were already going past it. So it's like, I think we can wait to see when it's really gonna go up later this year. But overall, the long-term chart has looked great. Like if we just look at wheat like this, you see this? This is perfect. It's breaking its long-term downtrend. It's been going down since the Ukraine stuff. So it's about to make a run for sure. I think you can buy it another time because the money you use now, you can buy something else like instead of wheat, right? You could be like, well, I could buy Oracle this week because Oracle went down. It's like, oh, you have another chance of trying to get into Oracle, right? So it's just dangling right here at the resistance. So if this week it starts dripping a little bit lower, then I would just get Oracle. Yeah, honestly, something else, something in software. Let's see what the. Oh man, this thing barely did anything today. Crap, this is too strong. We're not. Yeah, cybersecurity. If this thing gives you a dip this week, yeah, I would get it. CrowdStrike, CRWD, or Palo Alto Networks. They won't have earnings until June. You got a lot of time, just like Oracle. Oh man, this is too strong. Yeah, this thing wants to break out higher, a lot higher, probably. Man, I'm really curious after earnings if this thing will make a new high. It might. Yeah, this thing might. The way it's moving into earnings, it could be good. Okay, he said he was, and then floundered and said some. Oh, okay. So for the taxes. Okay, got you. I got you. Lying New York Times reports Iran retrieved like 70% of their buried missiles. Man, I heard like Iran was threatening that if you strike us again, we are going to enrich our uranium to nuclear weapons grade levels right away. I don't know if that's an idle threat or they got like they already have the technical skills to do that. If they do, then okay. Whatever, I guess. So what's the use of Western Texas Intermediate? I think that's just the price of oil that comes out of the ports in the Gulf overall. Also based on the storage at the Cushing. So there's a Cushing storage reservoir that they base off of like contracts off of. So we export our oil. So there are other people that can take our oil. And I'm sure like other states are not like California. They'll accept it. Yeah. California is really a special case, I think. Because one, they don't want to build a lot of refineries, right? Because if you build a refinery, you're going to add pollution. And, you know, people in California really hate, like, you know, they see smog everywhere and they're going like, oh. So we have like in the Northern California, the biggest ones are in Martinez, California, near Vallejo, and Richmond, California, like on top of Berkeley and Oakland. So those two areas generally have the poorest neighborhoods. Yeah, right, because like it's all ghetto. There's no good property values around those refineries. So if you are going to build more refineries, guess what? Property values are going to go down. They're not going to do that. It's politically ugly for Democrats to do that, right? To build more refineries. You're going against what you supposedly stand for. So there is a political will against it. And so we're stuck with what we have right now. Okay, where does the money go when there's a bear? They sell and go to cash? That's an interesting question. Maybe this is not real money, actually. Like, a lot of this stuff that's moving up right now is probably not even true, quote-unquote, money. It's just somehow a reaction to the money that was already dumped into the system because of all the loans we got from COVID. So it's not true money. It's like, oh, look, we're going to create more loans, and so every time a bank gives you a loan, they're creating money out of thin air. Okay, seriously, it's just thin air. They just grab it out of nowhere, and they're like, here you go, here's your money. And so banks are in charge of the actual creation of money on the downstream. What the Federal Reserve does is that they lower their interest rates, and their interest rates start affecting everyone else. Okay, they just start affecting everyone else because the other banks borrow from the Federal Reserve. So think of the Federal Reserve as the mommy bank. And so whenever the other banks want loans from the Federal Reserve, whatever the rates they set will ripple down to you. That's why when the Fed slammed to 0%, effectively zero, it's basically 0.015 or something really tiny. And then what happens is like, how mortgages go down to 2-point-something%. It didn't go down to zero, right? They have to make money. So the Fed gives the banks the money, and the banks like dump them cash, and they get interest from that money, and then from there they use that money to give you money, and so that's how it works. So I don't want to get into the whole fractional reserve system. That's a whole nother story. But you get the idea. I think you get the idea. It's basically out of thin air. That's where money comes from. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And there's also money velocity. So if you know economics, the speed of money will also create inflation. So if I give you $1 and you use that dollar to buy a Snickers, and then that guy who gets the dollar for giving you a Snickers goes off and buys a latte with that dollar, so then it starts circulating. So the same dollar goes around and around, and for that reason, it starts inflating things like prices. And that's what creates inflation too. It's like if the money circulates very quickly, the money velocity, it starts increasing the prices of things, right? So not only potato chips or McDonald's fries or like your can of soup, it will eventually get to stock market prices too, right? Because people will just keep using that same dollar to go around and around and around. Like some guy will take that dollar that's passed around and use it to buy a fractional share of Coca-Cola, and that'll just push the Coca-Cola price up, right? Yeah, something like that. Okay. I want Oracle to hit like 12? Oh, or CU. Okay, I got you. Yeah, okay. Oracle looks like it broke out and tested and is about to go above previous. Yeah, it does look like that too. I don't know though. We have to wait for the week to be over. Palantir does look cheap, but Palantir got his ass whooped in earnings, so I kind of want that thing to get cheaper. Yeah, I'm in Cali. M2 is the real bull. Yeah. Money supply. Got you. Money velocity for dummies. Yeah. M2. Yeah, M2. That's money supply. You guys can look it up. M2. All right. Thank you for your patience. I got through the chats here. Now we can continue on. What's the other stuff I wanted to talk about? I think I covered the main things. Okay, we're gonna cover some new stocks now. Let's cover the new stocks. Let's do some staple stocks. We're gonna do Coca-Cola and stuff like that, since I mentioned it too. So did I put it in this list? Did I put it in this list? I think I did. Okay, yeah, I did. McKesson, I talked about on Friday. I said this is one of the stocks I would buy and hold and not care about. Okay, this past earnings has given you an opportunity for a dip. All right, so we see this nice trend here. So I'll be watching this one because healthcare will be in one of the sectors that will do well at the last stage of the economy. Okay, so once we get towards closer and closer into, like, say, okay, maybe a recession is around the corner, people will buy this type of stock. So healthcare. So this is the drug dealer stock. They distribute drugs, MCK. So it hasn't been doing well since February. All right, everybody ran off to do oil and semiconductors. I guess they forgot about this stock and it got punished during earnings. Perfect. So is this a good time to enter? Let's see. So MCK. Okay, also same issue, McDonald's, right? All right, built to spill. You talk about McDonald's. Yeah, okay. All right, let's watch this one too. Why not? Let's see what happens. If McDonald's gets back to 252, maybe you might consider it as well for a late stage economy going into recession. You'll be like, well, any profits I make in, Hut and whatever, I'll save some and buy at a certain price for McDonald's. So if it touches 250, yeah, I'll get it, right? All right, since we talk about McDonald's, let's look at the competitor, KFC. All right, so Yum Brands, right? They own KFC and Taco Bell. I don't know. It has not done very well, honestly. So let me look at a monthly chart. There's no trend here, really. It's kind of choppy. I know there's Yum China. I think Yum China is better than Yum in America or whatever. Potentially, the Yum China might start doing a lot better than Yum itself. I don't know when though. It hasn't proven it yet. So there's Yum C and Yum. So Yum C is China. If the middle class in China ever gets any better, maybe it'll be next year. Let's see. Maybe Yum C will outdo it. Okay, Coke. So COKE is the bottling portion of Coca-Cola. So it's split off into a separate stock. So COKE is not the same as KO. Okay, this one is a really good stock. So this just does the bottling stuff. And since 2008, look at this sucker, $5 to 200. So this is a very good, quote unquote, boring stock. So for a boring staples defensive type stock, it looks good. So just like McKesson, put that on the high of your list, top of your list. If it drops back to like 150 aroundish, yeah, I would probably try to buy it. So COKE. Okay, next one, Hershey's. Okay, someone said, look at Hershey's. All right, let me look at Hershey's. Man, this is messy right now. Like, since 2023, pretty messy. I think I'm gonna have to wait and see for this one for sure. It might just retest 151, right? I don't know when the earnings is. It could be fine though, if it passes through. Yeah, it already had earnings, so I don't know. No trend, so can't say. All right, this one is going to be a fun one. It's Mexico, Coca-Cola bottling. So FMX, they do bottling for Coca-Cola as well as other like soft drinks in Mexico, and they also have kind of like a supermarket type business going on too. So FMX might be your play. I really like Mexico because I think international stocks will start outperforming US stocks in the coming year. If you look at this is the UwU Mexico ETF. This has been staying below this area since 2013, right? It just got stuck. Every time it gets towards this thing, it just gets pulled back, gets towards it, pulls back, gets towards it, comes back, right? This was April. Now, yeah, last January, April. And now it's been following the US markets, but I think it's going to start outperforming next year. I think Mexico stocks, especially if the dollar goes back down, I think the dollar will have one last ride up, and then the dollar starts weakening again into the end of the year, into next year. And then all the international stocks will do well. And the best international stocks that will do well on that will be from Latin America. So Mexico and Brazil, probably the top tier ones. Chile, Argentina, I don't know. Argentina has inflation issues, but I do know, like, on a dollar basis, it's done good. So let me look at the Argentina ETF. It's pretty wild, Argentina. Okay, Argentina. What is it? I don't. Come on, give me the dang ETF. No, it's not on the top of the list. Man, that should be on the top of the list. I don't want all the other trash. Come on. Yeah, so I think since 2022, pretty well. It's done pretty well. I just don't know if it's because, like, their peso is so garbage that the only reason this is going up is because the dollar is stronger than their peso, and it's kind of weird, and their companies are evaluated because of that. Shit, I don't know. I can't really understand this one. So it's been dangling up here since 2025. I don't know if I want to recommend this to you guys, ARGT, if it's ready to rocket up. I haven't been following their political situation, honestly. Like, Argentina is always a clusterfuck when it comes to politics and economics. So yeah, Chile at least, like, is pretty stable. They're all into mining, copper, lithium. Argentina is like, I don't really understand. Like, what do they do except for, like, I guess they have a lot of beef. Do they export anything else? Yeah, not really sure. Brazil at least has oil. I have no idea about, like, freaking Argentina. Like, I don't know what they got. But for now, just Mexico and Brazil. Okay, you got those two. But Mexico for the nearshoring. Why Coke and yeah, the bottling. Yeah, the bottling. Oh yeah, Circle. Okay, Circle. Yeah, I heard about that one. I have that at the bottom of my list because, like, CRCL is like a very new recent addition, right? Look at it. It's just IPO'd or whatever this is, and just rockets up and then gives it all away. And now it's trying to rocket up again in 2026. Well, I mean, it's really clear. We already had earnings, and it's going to have a hard time with this area here. Maybe it's just zigzags. It just zigzags here, right? And maybe in August, I'll look back at this and say, all right, I'll give it a shot. So we'll see. Yeah. It's tied to Bitcoin, though, too, right? So we got to wait a while. I know Bitcoin's going to go up. I don't know how, like, if I was going to do something that just follows Bitcoin, yeah, I would just probably get MSTR and leverage it up. But who knows? Maybe Circle is a good play but like, you have to worry about a stock that's so new. You don't know much about it, like the way it moves, and maybe they dilute their stock this week, and then it suddenly just crashes all the way back down. Shit. You just don't know with these small companies. All right, that's it. Yeah, good. Okay, what else? Any other stocks? Okay, I talked about FMX. So KO is Coca-Cola itself. All right, it's fine. I just like COKE better. I think it's pretty clear, right? So let's say from 2008 here, $22 to $80. That's fine. That's good. But if you compare it to Coke, COKE, yeah, that's a bit different, right? So you got like from $5 to 200, like that's just kind of how it is. So they split their stock into two different entities for a reason. Okay, so, and I'm sure there's probably some dividend issues too. So maybe KO gives you more dividends than COKE, but I personally don't like dividends. The taxation on dividends is not good compared to just capital gains. If I hold a stock for long term, the capital gains on that is way better than a dividend. You'll have to reinvest your dividend or do some funny business with that. Yeah, okay. See, there we go. The chat. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I got you. I got you. Okay, so let's see. KOF, Mexico, Coke. Yeah. Okay, so this one. Okay, we got that 4% dividend for the KOF. Okay. The chart itself, it looks all right. I guess we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, this one looks better. The FMX chart looks better. And then they're not just doing bottling. They got the supermarket stuff. I think it's basically, although Walmart is moving in Mexico very aggressively, I know. So Walmart is also like a strong staple stock. Like you can't go wrong with buying Walmart. Walmart is always aggressive. So I wonder if FMX has direct competition with Walmart or not. So okay, I'll put KOF on the list here. Okay, there you go. All right, let's look at Pepsi. Frito-Lay's, I guess, is not doing well. I don't know. I don't know what I think about this chart. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I think for Pepsi, PEP, we'll have to wait and see. This one I used to play, okay? I used to play this guy back when it was like hanging out over here. So this is energy drink, Celsius, CELH. So when it was dangling around here, I just threw a few bucks at it. I was just like, okay, here we go. It's a penny stock. Here, put $1,000, see what happens. And then it just shoots up to like 25. And I go like, huh, well, I guess this is not so bad anymore. All right. So when we had this little crash in COVID, the COVID bubble, yeah, I put some more into it. So it went up to 90 and then it crapped out after that. So it got up to 2024, and then it crapped out for some reason. I didn't pay attention. I was just like, well, the chart looks ugly now. You have this huge negative 28%. Well, I guess it's over. Party's over. See ya. So you got to go. So now I've been waiting to see if it got through this. We have to wait a while. It looks like we're not there yet. So last earnings didn't help. For some reason, during the Iran stuff, we went down 33% in March. I don't know. Was that the main reason? Okay, we'll see. So, to be determined, right? To be determined. Monster Energy, obviously, it's the best energy drink company. So I don't think we need to talk about this one too much. I think everybody knows. Well, would you want to buy it now? I would wait to see if this thing wants to make a move back down to 70. So maybe that. Otherwise, if you don't have it already, I would not buy it at this price. All right, right now. No. So one more thing before we leave. Let's talk about avocados. With the inflation that's going on, Californians love avocado toast. Okay, Ruby loved avocado toast. Avocado toast is a very expensive delicacy. And the shareholders of AVO, okay, Mission Produce, has gotten a merger deal with CVGW. Okay, so Cavallo Growers, CVGW. So CVGW will be gone from the stock market. It will be part of AVO. So we have a monopoly in avocados. They say that these avocados will be cheaper because now these two companies that were fighting for dominance in North America will combine forces and make efficient their supply chain. I think once they become a monopoly, sometime down the road, they will have pricing power and probably will start shoving out all the smaller producers of avocados in North America. And they will just flood the market with cheap Peruvian and Mexican avocados, right? That's how it works. You become a monopoly. You flood the market with cheap avocados to destroy your competitors domestically. And then once all your domestic competitors are gone, you jack up the prices again and have fat margins. So I think long term, if you want a monopoly play, AVO. Okay, so maybe in a year's time, we'll see if this stock will actually start going up like crazy. Okay, that's my bet for you guys. So AVO right there. Yes, they are cheap right now, aren't they? Very bad for margins. Maybe later they won't be so cheap because of this deal that these two companies have made for each other. All right. I've been watching Celsius lately too to see if they come back. Yeah, we'll keep watching. We'll keep watching. No tax if it's an IRA. Yeah. Dividend if you put in an IRA, a Roth IRA. Yes, that is correct. There's no tax if it's in a Roth IRA. Yeah. Yeah, Coke is more volatile. Yeah, but the price is so good, man. I like price action. That's me. That's just me, though. I'm just a price action type of guy. That's just a philosophical thing, I think. Okay, another thing to talk about before we continue. One last thing. AstraZeneca. I said AstraZeneca, right? So we talked about Moderna. Moderna bounced back today. It touched a little bit below 52 yesterday, and it bounced back. So we'll talk about that later this week again to see if Moderna survived. I don't know. There's still talk about the hantavirus. Did it mutate? Did it not mutate? I don't know. The France government says like they're not sure if it mutated or not. Oh, great. I really don't want another pandemic stuff, okay? Like, seriously. Okay, AstraZeneca. So it got itself into the NYSE, so New York Stock Exchange recently. So there's a lot more volume now in AstraZeneca. It's a British company, okay? That's why you see the PLC in its name. It tried to do a COVID vax, you know that, right? But their COVID vax wasn't mRNA. They used a traditional style type of vaccine. And they have cancer vaccines with mRNA technology, though. So they did partner with Moderna back in 2013. This is how long ago people were looking at mRNA vaccines. Okay, there was a lot of hype about it. So COVID kind of gave them the legitimacy that they didn't get before. Because like I told you, there's a lot of issues with storage. They have to be stored and shipped in ultra cold temperatures, like negative 60 degrees C. Actually, Moderna only needs to go down to negative 20 degrees C to store. The Pfizer vaccine with BioNTech, the German company, required negative 60 degrees C. Okay? So there's a difference between mRNA technologies right now, and there's a big competition. AstraZeneca is trying to come up with their lung cancer vaccine. So that's what's coming down the pipeline. So built to spill, you talked about like the clavicular peptide stuff. So that's going to be, they still have clinical trials, which will finish up late this year into early 2027. So they hope to get approval and the actual drug to come out in late 2027 to 2028, I guess. But like there's a huge black market for these drugs that haven't been approved. So is that why clavicular is so famous? Like he's basically got a plug for his black market unapproved retalapide, whatever the heck it's called. I don't know. Blah blah blah. This is crazy. Wow, there is some weird, shady stuff going on with this peptide business, isn't there? Oh man. Okay. My parents had self-directed IRAs after subprime crashed, then went into angel investing. Wow. And then to buying small banks in Nevada and Canada with silver. Whoa, man, you got a lot of stories. I think you got way you come from old money or something, because I don't know nothing about this. It's like, what? You're gonna tell me like your great grandparents probably got money from the Comstock load or something. Holy fuck. Oh, all right. Name translates to angel of death. Oh, really? Oh, okay. All right. Shit. Influencer for farm. Yeah, I think so. I think he is. I think something's really messed up right now. There's something really messed up. I don't think this is like you. I don't think anybody would go on stream to brag that they're taking drugs that shouldn't be out in public and just get away with it without some help, right? But with Peter Thiel helping him out. Didn't Peter Thiel bail him out of jail in Arizona? And then he went off and shot a alligator. Great. Wow, build is a billion. I don't know. I don't want to dox people on this show. Anyway. I'm sure there's a lot of people. I mean, look, people. Everyone has a ton of kids, right? So you're eventually gonna meet someone who is related to someone with money. It doesn't mean they actually have money, right? It's like, dude, look at Ben Thorpe. Ben Thorpe has like freaking had some money from his parents and whatever. It's all gone now. Whatever. Yeah. So whatever. Stocks in the 60s went through the 88 crash. Yeah, you were you made a comment about that the crash when I was talking about it. Yeah. If you live old enough, you're gonna have at least one person with the money. You're like from old America. I mean, I'm an immigrant, right? Like my parents like came here. I was born here, but still, I'm an immigrant. Like I don't have enough roots, so I could talk to anybody with some roots, and they will know someone who knows someone who knows someone, and it's just like. What you're gonna do if you were here long enough, somebody in your family probably made it big. Yeah, so they would know, which is good to have stories like that. They'll teach you things if you pay to listen. A lot of people don't listen to old folks, I think. It's their loss. Yeah. Okay, guys, let's continue on with the video. So I was gonna play a video. That's right. That's from last time. Okay, so now we're gonna test the video playing feature of this thing. I think I tested it. It seems smoother than what it was. All right, so let me get rid of this. Bye bye. So we talked a lot about certain stocks. Okay. Oh, let's see. The way Elon's having kids. Yeah, I'll probably meet one of them, I'm sure. My friend interviewed for Tesla or SpaceX. I don't know when. I also got like an email from a recruiter to like go, hey, yo, we're from SpaceX. Come out here to SoCal and go interview for us. I'm like, nah, man, I don't want to work for Elon. Elon is a taskmaster. This guy's crazy. Maybe if you talked to me like way back when, I might have been interested, but I was already in my 30s. I'm like, nah, I'm too old for Elon's BS here. So I had a friend, like, yeah, he got pretty far into the interview process. The last part of the Tesla interview process was to talk to Elon himself. That was it. Like, you had to go meet Elon and impress him, and if he liked you, you got the job. So Elon is a pretty big time micromanager. Okay, I'm pretty sure you got that feeling whenever you see him and how people talk about him. So probably maybe Steve Jobs would be almost as close to that level of micromanagement. Yeah, so lots of living on golf courses and never playing golf, but I need to make money now. Yep, there we go. Vanderbilt. Perfect. Don't tell the Thorpes that she's a Vanderbilt, please. Okay, we don't want people to be bugging people here. Elon destroyed. Yeah. I mean, Elon's a nutcase. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to feel about him still. I have mixed. I mean, I think people are not perfect in general, but like super A type personalities that become CEOs, you're probably not gonna like that kind of person, right? On a personal level. On a professional level, it's probably different, but on a personal level, sure. I don't think any of us would have an easy time dealing with someone like that. If you want rumors or gossip, you can read the stories that were written about him from his ex-wife and other things. Yeah, it's pretty wild. I worked with a guy who worked for SpaceX maybe 10 years ago, but he came back to the company where I work. Never found out why he left. Yeah, I think you probably know. Probably got like sick of it. It's like way too much pressure, I think. It's fine when you're young to work for a company like that. You get a lot of skills, but after a while, it's gonna tire you out. You're gonna get burnt out for sure. It's not gonna be lasting. Final interview should have been with Grimes. That would have been fun. I would have did it if I knew that the final interview would be with Grimes or okay, fine, okay, sure. Or maybe I'll get interviewed by his kids or something. Maybe his kids will grill me and be like, "Man, this guy's a loser, man. Dad, this guy's a loser. Don't hire him." I'm kind of a type A with badly untreated ADD. What can we do? I have my weaknesses. I think I wish I was more A-type. I would just be... I'm already aggressive enough, but I think I'm too... I let things slide too easily. So I think that's my problem. And I'm fairly too lazy. Oh, I'm a big procrastinator. Yeah, I got a lot of problems, honestly. Yeah, I gotta fix things. It didn't affect me too much. I got away with it, but it's not... These are not good qualities to have. Yeah. All right, guys. Let's see if this works. I think this should work. Let's play the video. ADHD. Okay, gotcha. ADHD. Yeah. All right. I gotta get used to their GUI. The GUI is completely different, so... But I figured out most of the main features already, and I think I know what I'm doing. And I think it's been pretty smooth so far, so I think I like it. I think Restream's servers are pretty solid. I don't think it's been lagging at any point. Great. This is what I want. All right. So we can stream from here. All right. Oh, come on. I don't care about Sydney Sweeney, blah, blah, blah. Hurry up. Where is it? Oh, this guy. Oh, I gotta play this guy's video. Okay, this is good. I like this one.
Why should you watch this video? You should not. You've got better things to do. But you're hooked. You like macro. And you like tropics. And maybe you like defenders. Me, I like chocolate croissants.
So Hugh, Bitcoin is down 20%.
When? What, overnight?
And gold's up 46%.
You want to be greedy with data. They've taken one measuring period and you haven't even captured the measuring date.
But I always say true wisdom is found the performance of one risk asset class versus the performance of another risk asset class. And so the primary signal is to be found in Bitcoin versus gold.
It's probably 12 months. It's not year to date. We would look at the 3-month look-back return. We'd look at the 6-month, the 12-month. The only sensible thing I can say is I'm going to the boulangerie. I've not had a coffee. I need a chocolate croissant. I don't need it, but I've become addicted again.
This is the boulangerie. We're going to meet Malik.
Hello, guys! Oh, yeah.
We got croissants.
Croissant.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to take one of them.
Yeah.
And what is that? Is that apple? Or?
This one is apple and cinnamon with honey.
Wow.
It's really good. I'm sorry.
Do you have ice today?
Oh, fuck! Baby, I forget it this morning.
No worries.
But I maybe have a solution. We can put a macaron inside the coffee. You want one too?
Two.
Thank you.
And you know what? You deserve this today.
Oh, no.
No,
You eat it.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's gonna eat it. You don't have any choice.
Yeah.
Bombastic, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for you to come every day, guys.
Thank you.
What I can say, love you.
You would look at the price of Bitcoin divided by the price of gold or vice versa. Ditch Bitcoin in favor of gold? Answer is no. I didn't like the question. The question really can't take us much further in any great pursuit of knowledge.
On the 12 months, gold is up 41%. 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year, gold has white Bobby Digital. Bitcoin is on his ass. So where?
Okay, so this guy is Hugh Henry. Okay? So HUGHHENDRY. He was a Scottish hedge fund manager. He was one of those guys that predicted the 2007-2008 crash. He was running a hedge fund that kind of did bizarre things. They designed their whole fund around black swan type events. Okay, really, I mean, not necessarily black swan, but it was like, okay, we are going to make a fund that doesn't chase traditional gains, right? Most people would do traditional things to make their gains. They would just be like traditional hedge fund. Like, I'm not going to guarantee that you make money, but when a bad event happens, I'm going to protect you from the bad event type thing. So, quote unquote, black swan, whatever. After that, he got burnt out. He went surfing. He decided he liked surfing. He took acid. He tripped out on mushrooms. That's it. He just became a hippie. He lives on St. Bart's with his billions of dollars. St. Bart's, if you don't know, is where the billionaires hang out in the Caribbean. So a lot of yachts go out there. So that's all he does. He just goes and talks and babbles about the economy from time to time on Bloomberg, and maybe he can, like, get a little billionaire to listen to him, and they'll indulge him. And I don't think he cares about making money. He just likes to talk. So this is him. This is his life right now.
Well done, you gold guys. And I salute you if you just had a leveraged position in gold and you avoided the miners. I know that annoys you. Let's make some.
Okay. Let me give you a little thing here. He was never bullish on Bitcoin or gold, technically. At one point, he was bullish on Bitcoin when it was oversold at a certain level, but he was never really, like, he's not a maximalist, right? For gold, he hates gold. He hates gold. He told people to buy bonds some years ago. Obviously, if you bought bonds and you listen to this guy, you would have made no money. You probably lost money. So I'm talking about 30-year bonds, 20-year bonds. You would have made no money.
Sensible points, because the market, when I say the market, I mean the price. The prices are a friend. I don't have a lot of data here, but I think I got about 4 years of data, and it shows Bitcoin divided by the gold price. And so Bitcoin was in a profound ascendancy until about the end of 2024, so 2 years ago. And that would be this point. And it makes a high. The price, if I was drawing circles around this, you can see it's picking up resistance.
Okay, so he's giving you a ratio chart. You see me, right? I do this too. I divide one thing by another thing. A few streams ago, I divided semiconductors with software. Are semiconductors going to go down and software is going to pick up? Let's see. He's dividing Bitcoin with gold. That's fair. A lot of people actually do this. They look at the difference between Bitcoin and gold. And if Bitcoin is outperforming gold, then Bitcoin should still, like, on a long-term scale, keep going up. But last year, it broke, right? It started breaking, and then it broke even more this year. So gold started outperforming Bitcoin, and that's where all the bears come out and say, well, Bitcoin is trash, this and that, right? So now we have a turning point. The last few weeks, we've seen a big change where Bitcoin is now outperforming gold. So let's continue.
And prices above 100,000, probably 115, 120,000 for Bitcoin. And it has an oscillation. It's been oscillating in a rising trend. But as we approach the autumn of last year, we've actually gone below the trend line. And Bitcoin's getting heavy, or which is to say, gold is in the ascendancy. Kind of that's fine, because the predominant energy of the phenomenon, which I think will continue, prejudice, which is Bitcoin's outperformance of gold, until the time I think they both equate to the same market valuation. And if you're new to the show, gold presently is about a 30 trillion market value, and Bitcoin is about 1.5 trillion market value. And I think those two will come together. They will fuse together. I suspect they'll fuse together at a lower level than $30 trillion. But maybe not. But I think Bitcoin is on a journey where it will achieve and attain a market valuation very similar to gold. That would be necessary if Bitcoin is to fulfill pretensions of being some kind of global reserve asset like gold. It then broke trend again. And then this is really interesting. You could still be kind of long Bitcoin and indifferent to gold, but this was the wake up. You see this rally, and now we're rallying and we can't really get past what was the previous low. So this point is ugly. I think that's February of this year. And, you know, if you were not listening, then you've been punished, and boom, like gold. This movement is largely Bitcoin halving in price, not halving in terms of the mining capacity. It's not really gold. Gold went from 4,000 to 6,000 probably in this period here. The basis of this chart presentation, we got nothing to say just now. Only thing you could draw from this presently is that gold is still in its ascendancy vis-a-vis Bitcoin. For that to change, Bitcoin would have to start, I mean, it's attempting to challenge these short-term downtrend charts. But what I imagine is Bitcoin is going to have a compression, probably somewhere between 70 and 100,000, and it's going to zigzag, 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 zigzag. Time is a healer. There's nothing.
Okay, you see what he said? That time is a healer. There's two ways to wait out a market. One way is that the price starts going down to the point where it becomes super cheap. The other way to do it is that you go nowhere for the longest period of time, just like oil and gas, right? Chevron, Exxon, look at those companies, look at those stocks. They went nowhere for 2-3 years after the Ukraine pump until now. So if Bitcoin just goes sideways, you know, into 2029, 2030, that's not a bad thing. The longer it stays in a certain range, at one point somebody's going to say it's time to go up now, and then Bitcoin will fly to like $1 million. So it doesn't necessarily have to go down to 10,000 again. Okay, it could just go sideways. Sideways how? Sideways compared to gold? I don't know. Sideways on its own? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Yes. The how many cameras does he have? Dude, he has a lot of producers or whatever. You know, he switches producers all the time. I don't know. Somebody else is producing his shit now. Scuff Bono. Yeah, Scuff Bono. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's kind of like a Scuff Bono. True. His Scottish accent might as well be Irish.
I think presently for Bitcoin blowhards to really get their teeth into. And I always say that your mind will be elevated the happier you are, the happier, the more beautiful your surroundings are.
I'm so happy to know how these things work when I was younger. My dad showed me that was so cool. You have to turn it back to...
Oh yeah, the cassette.
And anything else?
You'll get glimpses of things. And I'm sharing half-formed glimpses with you, because it doesn't synthesize all at once. Those investment reports you read, they are painstakingly, well, they were once before AI, painstakingly compiled over months. What they don't show you is the nitty-gritty, the ugliness of unformed, incomplete sentences. And yet that's where the genesis of seeing the future comes. So I'm sending to you unedited. I mean, if you want smooth operator, listen to Sade. I love Sade. She was my neighbor. Beautiful woman. I'm not trying to...
Talking about Sade. What the? Okay, she was my neighbor, but guys, believe me. Okay. This is too much. This is too
incoherence. I'm trying to offer the jagged Baptist sound of the future trying to reach you and say, hey, brother, you're on the wrong or you're on the right track. Anyway, Bisou, love you from St. God.
Yeah, okay. So you could go check him out. All right. Take the screenshot. There's his socials. Yeah, he needs your money, guys. He's a billionaire living in St. Bart's. He needs a Patreon fund to be filled up, guys. Okay? Okay, I'm playing one more video since I think I played this video before at one point. It's worthwhile to play this again. This is like an old classic of mine's. He used to go on Bloomberg. I love this appearance. This made my day. I remember watching this on early mornings, UK time. You know, he's on the UK time of the Bloomberg TV. And he was doing this shit. He was all freaking high on shrooms, going on Bloomberg and spouting this stuff off to people. Let's see. Oh, this was perfect. This was good. This was excellent, 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 excellent.
2008, I remember it well. So do you, I'm sure, as well. I remember talking to you at the time. It was brutal. You say this reminds you of what we went through then. Why?
Heavens, well, you had Spitznagel yesterday and you've got Eclectica Hendry today. I'm afraid it's the same thing. I want to raise the stakes. I actually fear this could be more severe than 2008 because we may have muted the ability of the Federal Reserve to underwrite a binary situation. In March 2009, just before the advent of quantitative easing, right? Yep. Citigroup traded, I think, at $9, which was the same price as prevailed in the 1970s. But $9 was $9 too much. It was bankrupt. The system was set to reset to zero with the bankruptcy of the global financial system, and the Fed underwrote the financial system. Or I would say, as an agent of all of us, it underwrote the financial. Will it be able to do so again? This market wants that question answered. And like Mark said, this market is going to go. It's like deep sea diving without air. It's going to go to a depth below the surface, probably in that 30 to 50% below the all-time high, and it's going to wait and it's going to say to the Fed, what you going to do?
And what will the Fed do?
Well, do you know, it's what the Fed is doing now, which is the concern, because they're not listening to, heavens, what was it? It's, what's he called? Lao Tzu, the mythical Asian philosopher, and he said,
Oh my God, he's gonna go into Taoism, isn't he? Oh,
treat
here we
the
go.
world as you find it. Don't interfere with it. Accept it. Okay. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, bubbles are fine. They're not fine, but they're kind of sustainable as long as there's there's zero financing. But the Fed has become aggravated and is changing carry. Yeah, mortgage rates in America have doubled to over 6%. You were seeing various credit yields blowing out. You know, we're seeing drama in Italy. We're seeing drama in the foreign exchange markets. In the most unsuspecting places, like the solidity of the yen has just slipped like sand into the sea. Okay, why? Because the Fed is tampering and is calling upon the spirit of Volcker from the 1970s. Why is that? Why could that be catastrophically wrong? Because the 1970s was 40 years after the bankruptcy of the US financial system, right? And we had 40 years where we deleveraged and global debt was like 1 times GDP. Today it's 5 times. If you raise rates, the whole edifice of this system could crash.
To Mark's point, there's too much drama.
Okay, context. This was during 2021 when Jerome Powell was racking up the interest rates. Hugh Henry was going everywhere telling people, yo, this is way worse than the 1970s, 1980s, because even though the interest rates going up wasn't that high compared to the 70s, the debt that we had to GDP is a lot higher. I think if you go on Twitter, go look up debt to GDP. People are screaming that the US debt to GDP is insane. It's about to go above what we had in World War II. And they say, like, how can we pay for this stuff? How can we pay for this stuff? The system is going to collapse. So he's going everywhere saying, you know, the stock market's going to crash. The stock market's going to crash, right? Like a lot of people were saying the same thing. But he was the most interesting one saying it to me. He's always out here. He looks like he's freaking like, yeah, he just came out of the surf, put on a t-shirt. His hair is probably still got salt all over it. And he's just like high off of shrooms. He just drank a cup of shroom tea and he's just going on here spouting this off. Crack, you need a Patreon. Oh, no. You don't need to give me money. I'm fine. I have enough money. I don't think I think the best thing you can do is you take what I tell you guys and you pass it along. You pass it along. Pay it forward. This information is free. Okay, I'm not talking to a billion people here, so I have no worries. You can spread the word. Go on. AI's budget. Yeah, I don't know. AI is such a it's just an overused statement for everything now. Chatbots towards like who knows, whatever. I'm so annoyed by it. Yeah, too. I think this is the same thing as in the 80s. 80s, people were talking about AI this and AI that, which is completely different to what we have now. So it's just statistics. Just
Like
statistics.
Tinder out there. If you light the fire, how fast does it burn?
Absolutely. This is all about, it is, profound market turning points are always about collateral, always about the undermining of confidence in collateral. Collateral is money, okay? When you start raising rates, the ECB, remember the ECB are rather blind. These are the agents who raised rates in June 2008, yeah?
Tricher.
Tricher. There's the verb tricher is to lie. Make of that what you will. They certainly couldn't see the future, okay? They just raised rates, 75 basis points last week. Consequences, okay? Consequences. Back in 2012, when Draghi said, BTPs, we stand behind them. 10-year Italian bonds are the equivalent of boons. The problem is the German government doesn't produce enough bonds, and bonds are money. And so what happened is the euro-dollar financial banking system, the system that creates and prints money across the world, decided to use BTPs. This is analogous to the global banking system using mortgage-backed securities as collateral, with the conceit and the arrogance that this was a great idea until it wasn't. And what we're discovering is if the ECB insists on 75, the confidence in using BTPs as collateral across the world will be called into question. It is being called into question. The reason why the dollar is surging versus the euro is at the margin. Banking counterparties are tapping their neighbors and saying, please take the BTPs back. I need dollar treasury bills. So at the margin, what's happening? You're selling euros and you're buying dollars.
So Hugh, first of all, it's Alex in New York. It's really great to see you. You're really bumming me out on the picture that's going to evolve. Where's the biggest misprice then in the market if we're looking at this kind of huge mistake that's going to just wreck a lot of assets?
This made me really crack up. I mean, man. Yeah, you're bumming me out. You're bumming me out, Hugh. Man, I think she was like kind of, she was kind of turned on by this guy. It was like, whew, man, dude, you talk about the ECB one more time. Talk about the German Bunds rates. Oh yeah. I don't think I want to be some like resource for someone on the internet overall. I think I need to get to know you on a person to person level, a real life level. And Ben probably would not listen to me anyway, regardless. It's like he doesn't listen to anyone. Like I'm not even sure who he actually would listen to. I think he has too much of an ego type of thing. And yeah, like his ego is so fat, is like so large. I would find it really difficult for someone like that to accept any kind of advice without unless I could put it in a sandwich where I would make him think it was his idea. As long as I could make him think it was his idea, then he would accept it, right? But working with someone like that is so difficult. Very difficult. Yeah. And otherwise he'll just lash out at me again. So he'll just blame me for something that goes wrong. So that's it. I don't think you want to work with someone like that.
The market's a genius, yeah? Yeah, I never set out to outperform the smartest minds on the planet. They're smart, right? So it's got it. How could I play this, right? So if we approach this, if any of this comes into play, you want to be long volatility, right?
Finance is too dry for people. It really is. I try to make it entertaining. Like you see some of my streams, I start talking about e-girls, simps. I try to compare it to that. I try to analogize. Finance mathematics too, right? Teaching mathematics or finance, you have to relate it to people a lot of times, because it's so abstract. Like the concepts are so abstract, but they apply to everything in real life. Uh, you could look at options and you'd be like, "Oh man, it's too hard to understand. I don't understand options." But I could dumb it down, right? If I look at it and try to teach it to someone, I won't do it myself. I wouldn't trade options, but the basic concepts you could find in real life that people can see, because people don't think in kind of abstract ways all the time. Like they don't relate certain things to their life. Mathematics, the foremost. People need examples, but when I was teaching engineering to people, I would always go with like an analogy, right? If you look at electric circuits, you could analogize it with water. Capacitors are like tanks, right? Pipes, I can talk about resistance and flow with pipes of water. Gravity, right? I could say like, well, gravity can act like a battery, right? Well, it's giving you force down the pipe. And a flywheel is like a spinning wheel would essentially be like an inductor, like a mill that powers your thing. So analogies are so important when you teach things. And finance, if you just teach it like straight up, it's so boring. It really is. I never liked finance. I just got into it because like, well, I learned the stock market and it gives me money, so I might as well learn a thing or two, right? So I try to see if I can make this into a theme. Every show I make is kind of like thematic in that way. Yeah, that guy's cooked. Yeah, well, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Right. What is it? Theta. What the theta dot? Oh no, Ruby, no. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's a good one. All right. Let's continue.
That's really, really hard. So you've got to be creative and think about it, okay? And I have. I sit on my island in the Caribbean, and I think the cheapest source of volatility can be found in the cross rate between the renminbi, or that is to say the Chinese yuan, versus the US dollar. And even then, it's not that cheap because implied, i.e., the pricing structure built into the price of future movements is higher than realized. So you're talking call spreads, but like a call spread, 730, 750.
Yeah, see, he starts now. It's just like whoa, 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 word salad. What the heck are you talking about, Hugh? I can't understand anything you're saying now. See, I need to get an MBA, get my CFA, take some economics. Oh, all right, yeah, and then like, oh, now I can understand what you're talking about, or do I have to take the acid too? I got to take an acid tab and figure this out.
Dollar CNY is a source, I believe, of getting long volatility. And if anything, any of this happens, boom, you're going to make money.
So, boom, you're going to make money. A lot of volatility. I get that. Our central
Wait. Did you really get that, lady? Come on. I didn't get that.
banks, and I think more importantly, and to some extent, policymakers, going to allow that kind of volatility?
Let me, I am here. I represent to you and to the world the five. There are no more than 5 people who understand money in the world. And I assure you, they do not work for central banks, and they do not work for investment banks or hedge funds, okay? When the poor monarch of the United Kingdom, the departed Queen, in 2009, with visiting dignitaries, she said, with all of this genius, why did no one see 2008 coming, okay? Because no one knows the identity of the 5.
Who are the
I
5?
do, and
Who are
I'm
the
here
5?
Hey, listen, yeah, I'm here giving you cheap sources of volatility. That's for people to do their own homework. I have made a vow of trust never to reveal. But let me tell you, you walk past them every day. They surf. They have long hair. They certainly don't wear suits, and they're controversial.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You paint a picture. Sorry, Alex.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, so, but if that's the case, then you're implying that, yes, policymakers and central bankers are just going to make a lot of mistakes that contradict each other. Is that like what I'm going to take away from that point about the 5 smart people?
Central bankers do not understand money. They pretend. I ask your audience, tell me the last time the Federal Reserve got it correct, or any central bank for that matter.
Yep.
I don't know. They get things wrong. And now there's a conceit. This year began with 2 consecutive quarters of GDP contraction in the United States. What is the response of the Federal Reserve? It's not a recession. I'm getting on in years, and for as long as I've been on the planet, guess what? It's a recession, okay? And they say, no, wait until the wise economists at the NEBR confirm it. I dare you, wait. Because if you look at the charts, the S&P is typically down 50% when the wise guys get it.
How do you think about QT? How do you think about the liquidity squeeze that is coming?
May I repeat myself?
No,
Private banks create money through collateral and taking reputational risk sharing with their neighbors, okay? Quantitative easing, QE did not generate inflation. Let me quote,
no, but it created liquidity.
It created liquidity, okay. So the Federal Reserve...
So what happens when we reverse that process?
The Federal Reserve has studied this. There is a recent Federal Reserve paper which maintains that a $2 trillion reduction in the Federal Reserve balance sheet would be equivalent to 27 basis points of hiking. Okay. It's a joke, okay? It's a joke, right? The greatest danger is the unwinding and the lack of confidence in collateral. The big event is, look at the yen. Heavens, the yen's at 25-year lows. Why? Because Japanese money center banks are not interested in lending into Japan, the moribund economy, right? They have become the Asian distribution platform for dollars into China. That is to say, they're short dollars, they're short treasury bills, and they're long duration commercial risk within China. And what we're seeing in the currency isn't hedge funds, it is banking counterparties across the world saying, get me out. I urge the audience, look at 5-year CDS for Mitsubishi UFJ. You'll see something just beginning to wake up. But when the...
Okay, all right, okay, all right. I don't know if I have time to unpack everything he just said right there. Okay. But he basically said Japan is long duration China, meaning they're buying very long dated bonds. From what? Is it the Chinese government bonds or the private sector bonds? I'm guessing private sector bonds. I don't know if it's true now, okay? This was talked about. He was talking here in 2021, 2022. I think 2022, right? When we had the great hiking, okay? Obviously, the yen is not where it was then. The yen is very high now. Okay, so that's a different story. There's a lot of inflation in Japan right now because of the fuel inflation. Not good inflation. What else? I guess, let me think. Anything else with Japan? Well, we have a new prime minister, right? Wants to do a lot of stimulus. That's another thing. The Bank of Japan probably going to hike rates. I also heard that the U.S. and Japan are going to link up and talk about surveillance agreements against China. So they're going to link up the FBI, CIA with the Japanese equivalents. So there could be something going on there. I don't know. All these things are kind of changing the game plan. So this is kind of stale information. But it is interesting to revisit, right? Because he talked a lot right here.
Risk officers at the largest global banks in the world seek to reduce their Japanese bank exposure. They're going to buy that CDS.
What is a safe asset?
There's no such thing as a safe asset.
What is the safest asset?
No, it is the safest behavior.
If you want to hide out, people are beginning to get worried.
Yeah.
Galileu's starting to get worried. People are starting to get worried. Where do they put their money? I remember 2008. I remember 2008 in particular. Where do you put your money in that kind of environment? Where do you, if you're not buying volatility, where are you putting your money?
Guy, this is, again, I've been around way too long, okay? Between the NASDAQ crash, March 2000 and 2002, the German stock market fell 80%, the DAX, okay? I made 3% in a mutual fund. My competition, the other mutual funds, sought to have me debarred. Why? Because in answer to your question, desist, walk away. The hardest thing you can do, walk out of the casino. Again, I dare you, is that the Bible says for a rich man to enter heaven. It's like that.
You walk out of the casino, then what?
Wait.
You just put it in the bank?
Wait. I don't care, just don't have, like, put it in your pocket. I don't care.
Right. But don't invest in assets.
Don't take risk at this point. That's the gamble, right? Maybe wrong, okay? But the thing is, okay, the call is, will the Fed buckle? Probably. Will we make new all-time highs if inflation's at 7? We don't know, okay? So are we in a redux of the 70s stock price performance, which was an excruciating trend with a ceiling on the price? You get to the high, and people would buy for the breakout, and you go to the low. And people would sell for the breakout, and you go back to the high. Maybe. But like, there's too much drama before then and now.
What's the podcast called?
Hugh Hendry, or Asset Capitalism.
All right, guys. You guys got it, right? I guess you think you know what is going on here. Well, he was wrong. The market did go back to all-time highs and went even higher. So nothing he said in 2022 materialized. Nothing broke then. We did have a scare in Silicon Valley Bank, but I think that was kind of unrelated to all that. It was just because Silicon Valley Bank just had a bank run. It was a bizarre scenario, quite rare. But the whole CDS stuff he was talking about didn't happen. We do have a CDS issue now with Oracle. Oracle is like kind of like, ooh, you're overspending. The bond market doesn't like Oracle. Oracle is spending too much money than what it gets. So let's see what happens this time with Oracle this quarter. Let's see what they say. Yeah, Buffett keeps it simple. So yeah, I don't know. It's all about philosophy. It's just a philosophical point of view. I don't know. I can't say one thing is wrong, one thing is right, this and that. Everyone has their own philosophy. I think the best thing is to be flexible, but most people are not flexible, right? Maybe one, like in this market, you would be George Soros. You like bubbles. You want to see bubbles. You take advantage of bubbles. Warren Buffett, he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. He'll avoid it. So he stays out of this kind of market. And other people have other things in other situations. When the market condition changes, you move from one to another type of philosophy. If you can do it, a lot of people probably won't because everyone has a different psychology. You like the glasses? Yeah. Hugh has a lot of glasses, that's for sure. Terrence Howard math. Oh man, don't remind me. I had a big debate on one of my first streams during the 24/7 John Galt era. We had a huge debate on Terrence Howard math. Don't even get me to that. I had to basically dumb it down into this way. I said, what is 1 times apple? 1 times apple is an apple. Okay, let me change it to apple times apple. What is apple times apple? He couldn't answer that. So I think that's where the Terrence Howard math comes from. It's like they don't understand that, like, the reason you don't get it is because you think apple times apple. What happens is when you do multiplication, it's 1 times something equals that something, right? That is, I take away the abstraction for you. I do 1 times orange, I get 1 orange. 2 times orange, I get 2 oranges. If I went and told you orange times orange, apple times apple, you can't figure that out. Now you're stuck. See, that's what happens when you get Terrence Howard math. All right. Anyway, enough of that. He knows Metcalf, McAfee too. Yeah, I don't know about that McAfee thing. You got a conspiracy theory for us about McAfee? You should do a Babes of Bloomberg. Oh yeah, Bloomberg girls are pretty different from the CNBC girls. Yeah. They are. They definitely have a type. So whoever is like hiring the anchors on Bloomberg, yeah, definitely has a type. He couldn't predict the pandemic. Yeah, there's a lot of people. You know, like I could show you like certain signs that there was something fishy. There was a lot of fishy stuff in 2019. So somebody had something going on. Becky Quick tried to get Buffett say things look toppy, but the most she could get from him was that no one knows and what's going to happen tomorrow. Is there talking about? Yeah, there was also an interview with Paul Tudor Jones. Paul Tudor Jones had an interview. Maybe I'll play that interview sometime later. Paul Tudor Jones. I played the documentary, a little documentary about him. Very good, very smart guy too. This Hugh guy could care less because the difference between 10 billion and 1 billion really isn't much because it's more than most have. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what his game is. I think he's just a bored guy. He's just bored. He just likes to show up. I don't think it's like so. Apple squared. Yeah. I'm not gonna get into that anyway. That was funny. Okay, let's get back into the cycle stuff. Okay, let me finish off the video that I tried to start last time, and then we'll end with that, and we'll continue on tomorrow. Let's see what new things will appear tomorrow. Actually, I have to talk about the shoot. Okay, hold on before I forget. I'm going to talk about the options expiration very quickly. I think you know what's happening right now. It is because of options expiration. That is true. However, it's really only going to affect the semiconductors. That's why you saw the semiconductors get hit so badly compared to the others, because it's mostly going to be semiconductors. Okay, let me show you why, and then you'll learn. Okay, here we go. Boom. All right, here. Let me show you this. Oh my God, not the right one. That is an interesting chart though, but is that all I did? I guess that's all I did. All right, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let me put it up. Okay, here we go. All right, so you see SOXX, this was yesterday. So the gamma flip level is 524. Okay. So if the SOXX goes down below 524, which it did, we're going to see more push down into Friday. Okay, that's one thing you got to learn. Buy is fine. It has a lot more buffer, you see? So the broader S&P is probably going to survive this week, no problem. Semiconductors, however, was really close to flipping over into the red area. The red area means negative gamma. So down here at the bottom, when price is below the gamma flip point, dealers, so the market makers who are selling puts and calls to you, are considered net short gamma, often from puts, which means they will sell as prices fall and buy as prices rise. So the more semiconductors fall, the easier it'll be to sell. But then in the middle of the day, you get a nice pop back up. So that's why today you see like sharp move down and sharp move up. And then tomorrow, if we get another down day, sharp move down, sharp move up. Okay, so when it stops moving down, it's easy to push back up. But when the ball gets rolling and it goes down, the momentum builds, it gets stronger and stronger until somebody has to stop it at a certain level, right? Which means they will sell as price falls and buy as price rise, amplifying price swings. So high volatility, they amplify the swings. So it's good for day trading. That means it's good for day trading. It's not good for holding though, that's for sure. Okay, I put this on Twitter for fun. And I said, like, okay, look at this. If I bought the S&P 500 during COVID, okay, and I survived the dip, okay, where would we be right now? If I was in semiconductors, I'll be up 520%, about at the high. If I bought just 7 stocks, I just bought Facebook, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, let's see, Google, Apple, Tesla, right? Something like that. Very few stocks. The top 7 stocks. Right now, the top 7 stocks have changed because Broadcom and Micron have pushed out Nvidia and Meta. Okay, those are gone. Now, if I bought the whole S&P 500, right? You just buy the index. You just buy an ETF like VOO, SPY, or IVV or whatever. Okay, what would I get? I get 120%. Okay, not bad. So 120%, that's not bad. If I just bought 7 of the top ones, I would have got 321. Of course, you would have had to know what the top 7 were during COVID, because during COVID, the top 7 is a lot different from the top 7 now, right? It's changing all the time. But let's say I was prescient. I knew the future. I just picked Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Nvidia, Tesla, Meta. Okay, if I adjust it for inflation, because inflation from that time till now is 30%. So if I knock off inflation, that means I only gained 72% on the S&P 500. Most people, they have a mixture of bonds and stocks, right? So, or maybe they have a very broad portfolio, not just large caps. They have small caps, mid caps, anything. Then let's say it's going to match this line here, the New York Stock Exchange geometric value line. That means I only got 21%. So I over diversified. That's what I would get. So this is why, me as an older person, I would underperform in this kind of market, because this market favors people who don't diversify, concentrate their positioning to certain stocks. And even now, the top 7 stocks isn't good enough. I have to be concentrated in semiconductors to get the gains the past month and a half. This is a wild time to be in. We are in some interesting times. Okay, I'm gonna put up the gamma stuff here. Let me find the pictures, and then we'll continue with the video. Hopefully I got time. I don't know if I got time now. I think I spent too much effort with that Hugh Henry stuff. Which I might as well bring up, because I was talking about like where money was created and all that. You can see him like, oh man, money. Where's the money created? Oh. All right, let me see. I put in this folder or something, didn't I? I guess I did. Okay, let's see. All righty, here we go. Here we go, guys. All right. Look at the max pain. So in options expiration, there's a max pain. All right. The current price as of Monday, so yesterday, was just above the max pain. So it didn't need to drop that much. So the S&P doesn't need to drop that much to destroy as many puts and calls as possible. So not much there. Let's look at Lumentum. Lumentum got pushed up 18% at one point during the day in Monday, right? So it's way above the max pain. So anybody holding options on Lumentum, you probably should have cashed out your calls, because these guys want to push this thing back to 870. How about Micron? Same dealio, 797. Well, max pain is 520. So it wants to get closer to 520. That's where the tendency is as the options expire. Look at the NASDAQ 100. Not much. It's just 713 versus 705. So just like the S&P, not much. But when you look at Micron, the best performing semiconductor, it's way too high. Lumentum getting pushed because of its introduction to the NASDAQ 100 yesterday. Way too high. Okay, so now I think you get the idea. So it's going to be easy for it to push it down till Friday. Once we get through Friday, we got to wait for Monday to clear the system out. And then we'll be back to normal on Tuesday. Okay, guys? So be patient. If you're waiting to buy something this week, especially in semiconductors, maybe not in the other sectors, but if semiconductors goes down a lot, it can scare people in the other areas to sell, because you have to remember the NASDAQ and S&P only went up as far as it did because of semiconductors in the last 4 weeks. Okay, so most of the move after April 15th is because of semiconductors. All right. So there you go. Hopefully you got that there. All right, let's go. Okay, let's get back to some cycles here. A little bit dry. This is going to be dry stuff, but you guys might be interested in me continuing this. So let me get that for you. All right. All right, let's continue. I think I was around what?
Welcome to another episode of Cycles TV. What I'm talking to you. So yeah.
All right.
Red.
Okay. We were here, right?
Red.
Maybe 12
on our Cycles dashboard today.
Okay, let me just start here at 2 minutes. 2 minutes around here. Okay.
At the conference, and it will be introduced at the conference. So that's already a sneak preview. If you don't want to get a preview, then you should shut down and just come to New York and see it there. If you're interested in a sneak preview, then stay tuned for the next 20 minutes. Okie dokie. Looking at the screen, and it might look different. This is what I told you. I will not introduce the full explanation. What we see here is an overview about different commodities to the left, and here's some metals to the right. And we will jump into the individual cycle perspective just in a second. What you will see here is a so-called green and red bar. Yeah, if we zoom in a little bit here, so for natural gas, we see just a green bar to the right here in the center, while at the bottom for wheat futures, we just see that red bar, right? And in between, there might be commodities which have either a red or a green component. And those components are, simply speaking, the different cyclic perspectives you could take. So you could take a bullish perspective, or you can take a bearish perspective based on different dominant cycles in that asset. And sometimes there's only the case for a bullish situation. That's when just only the green bar comes into place. And sometimes there might be a situation for only a bearish case where only the red bar is shown, like on soybean and wheat here. And sometimes you can make both cases, yeah, like a positive and a negative scenario. That's where cycles are in between. That's just the simple way of explaining what those bars mean. And that finally gets up to a total score here. So interesting, yeah, for us are those with either big green or big red scorings. So let's start with natural gas. Natural gas has a high green cycle score, and what this means is quite simple on the dashboard, so that simplifies a lot. Before we jump to the conclusion, you can see here at the bottom, this is the usual cycle scanner perspective. What makes that analysis quite fast and easier is that the cycles are now pre-selected for our composite. So here 4 cycles are selected, and the most important one are based on our standard procedures like stability and ranking are in the most important ways. And then they are enriched also with some other cycles which have a high strength here, which makes sense. But I will reveal the full procedure in the New York conference, but that makes it quite easy, yeah, to select those 4 cycles which are valid, yeah, based on different perspective. And if I talk about they are valid, you know that we are talking they have a high stability, which means low variability over the past time. They have a good ranking in terms of how the peak looks in the cycle spectrum, yeah, second factor. They have a high strength, which means that their cyclic amplitude over the length, so over the period, has a meaningful impact on price movements. Otherwise, I mean, a stable cycle would not make sense, yeah, if it has not a meaningful amplitude-wise impact on price movements. Why should we care about it? So that's the third perspective. And that all sums up into how we select dominant cycles. If you are part of this channel, that's always the same procedure we are outlining here. This has now become much more automated, much more mechanical, which helps everyone sitting in front of those screens. So looking at natural gas as one commodity tells us a clean picture here of, and we have revealed this year by year in April. Yeah, it seems like we're forming a bottoming perspective in US natural gas prices now in April into June, July, so the summer period. So this is confirmed by the cyclic RSI, looking at that current situation here, which confirmed that low here. So looking at that commodity cycle, there is more room for the upside for US natural gas prices following the cycles and following the technical condition. So that's the first perspective on natural gas. If we jump back to our quick dashboard perspective, now let's jump to the bottom of some commodities where we have seen soybean and wheat. So one interesting point would be the soybean futures, which have that cyclical structure right now, which seems to be more on a topping condition, now running into potential bottoming area by June, July. Here we have also 3 dominant cycles, which have been pre-selected here, which are shown also here in our spectrum, right? So the 243 days, and then those 2 shorter cycles here with the length of 115 and 95 days. So you see from a shape perspective, those play very well. And then also added that 3rd term long-term cycle. And if you sum up those cycles, and that's the point here, they all have formed a kind of topping condition already in April, so which looked out here more like a topping condition, and we expect prices from a cyclic perspective, pure technical analysis, maybe to forming a bottom in June or 4 weeks from now. So that's not looking bullish or positive right now for the soybean futures. Getting back to our overall condition, it looks similar for wheat, and in wheat we already had now this upswing here in those price series, which we can.
All right, so Built to Spill asked, what about wheat? It went up today and yesterday. Is it going to continue? Well, based on the cycles that he's giving here, it shouldn't go up anymore. But it doesn't mean it's going down either. It's probably at best going to go sideways from now on, right, into the summer. If you look at natural gas, it has till June. So one of you guys was like, oh, UGas got delisted. Yeah, UGas was 3x leverage, right? So UGas was 3x leverage. There's another ETF that you could go into. You could use Boyle. That's still around, BOIL, Boyle. But however, as you probably know, whoever was talking about UGas in the last stream, they give you a K1 tax form. So if you're going to trade Boyle, you're going to get a nice little tax form right here. So there you go. Okay. Let's see. So I think you guys got in the chat, right? Good. So you can go to Boyle if you want to play that trade if it happens. I mean, I tried to play Boyle and cold a few times. It's too tricky. I feel like a lot of the moves in natural gas happens overnight, especially after a long weekend. After a long weekend, you get multiple weather reports. You have to know that the natural gas system, the whole trading around it is a prediction of weather. So if you can't predict the weather forecasts And it's not just the weather forecast, immediate forecast. I mean, you can predict the weather forecast that the supercomputers are going to give you 1 month out, 2 months out, maybe even 3 months. Okay, if you can predict what they predict ahead of them, then you can make a lot of money on natural gas. Usually, I would only play natural gas if there's a big trend. So the last time it had a big trend, it was going into the Ukraine war. So going into the Ukraine war, natural gas was already going up seasonally. And then the Ukraine war hit and natural gas just exploded higher. This time around, we didn't get that in the US markets. The European natural gas markets, very high right now. And we're getting into the summer. So yeah, the US markets, however, no effect. No effect on the US markets. So besides oil, nothing, right? Oil is a global commodity, so it affects everyone. Natural gas is divided between the Europeans and us and Asia Pacific.
Which have been pre-selected, which are forming a conditional cyclical top at the beginning of May in that time. So we are quite arriving in that period, and it's confirmed also from the technical conditions here. So it's quite seen that we form a kind of divergence between price and the cyclic RSI structure, as seen here, which confirmed now the drop above the upper band, which is confirming in this timing window here, which is formed by those 3 dominant cycles. And if I tell you by those 3 cycles, let me more closely tell you what I mean by talking about that. So let's deselect those cycles here for a moment. So no cycles selected, just selecting the first one, yeah, which is the 249-day cycle, which is shown up here. You see this is forming a larger top now exactly at that point in time here for now. Deactivating that cycle and then continuing with the 89 and 100. We need to be careful with the labeling here. So the 168 has also a topping here. So those 2 cycles, which make up that composite cycle here, are topping at the same point in time. Yeah, so I can just deactivate one cycle or the other. They are forming a cyclical confluence point of a top here. And now adding the 3rd cycle into the mix, which is the 99-day cycle, you see it's at the same point in time. So
all right, I guess it means we have to wait on wheat around sometime in July through September. So we'll get back to wheat. Okay, so no rush on wheat, I don't think, or any of the other grains.
All 3 cycles, and that's what we're looking for as a cycle analyst. And that's what the consensus score helps us to identify, is that if those 3 cycles are anyhow a dominant cycle, if we aggregate them into a cyclic cluster, you clearly identify how those cycles form a cyclical top alignment here. So 3 dominant cycles right now forming a major top here. That's what the composite shows us. This is why we have those huge red scoring here on the cycle consensus, confirmed by the technical CRSI condition here. So wheat is looking like being in a kind of topping formation here. So that's natural gas, it's soybean, it's wheat. We can now move over and analyze some metals here from the commodity sector, and you see it's sorted the same way. We have on top those which seems to form a nice bullish condition here, and at the bottom those which have the most topping formation here. So, and that's interesting, gold mining ETFs here with a score of close to 100 seems to be a very interesting bottoming situation right now, and that's how it looks like. So here we have 4 cycles, which if you just look at the visual shape of that composite, so those 4 cycles where each of those cycles just on its own, yeah, would be a possible dominant candidate. But if we add up all those 4 individual dominant cycles, they all align into that sharp bottoming condition here right now, which form those sharp V-shaped.
Oh man, so does that mean gold miners is going to have a really good time into June, July? Maybe. Maybe GDXU is a good play right now.
Bottoming timing window, which is kind of exceptional, or at least those are the windows we are looking for when those amount of cycles agrees here. Looking closer at the technical condition here at the bottom, you see it would be confirmed by the technical situation here that that indicator is now pushing from below the lower band to the upside in that timing window here. So again, that's why we have that high score. It looks like a gold, and here the ETF is shown, might be set up for another upswing here. I mean, we have consolidated a little bit now in the past weeks, but this would give us more confidence to the upside now for gold, and a possible interesting situation to participate in the ETFs here just as measurement vehicle. Yeah, what I told you, maybe to confirm. So we have those 4 cycles here, which, as you can see, each on its own would be a very dominant candidate on its own, forming that possible window here. Yeah, if we just stay for example at that moment here. So let's deactivate them all. Bring that in again. We can have a look here at those individual numbers. And now let's start with the longest one here, the 187, which is bringing this longer term bottom here into end of the year, then stacking up the next shorter dominant cycle, which comes into play here, which is the 100-day cycle, which is also falling in that period. Yeah, so this is just the isolated perspective, just seeing the 100 days cycle, and
All right. I think that's a good time to end. We got 2 hours in. Okay. All right, guys. Yeah. So let me end it there. We will continue with the gold miners. After that, he talks about palladium. He doesn't talk about lithium. So tomorrow, I'm going to have to talk about lithium on my own. Okay. So lithium will be on the menu tomorrow. Let's see where we stand. Is it worth buying now when it's like just following the markets a little bit? Yeah, that's a question. Good question. I mean, I'm already in SGML and LAR. I know that. Like, those are pretty good. But I don't think I would recommend buying it right now. They've been going up since late March, April, right? After the taco, they've been just zooming up. It's like, I think it's too stretched. It's too early for it to continue up on lithium. I think you can wait a few months there. So lithium miners, I'll look tomorrow. And then we'll just end with like day trading and all that. Okay, so that'll be good. Yeah, perfect. All right, I'll see you guys later. John Galt is still streaming. I think Mr. Deadman is still streaming. I think Jeremy didn't close his stream correctly. So there's still 3 people waiting to see if Jeremy's stream is still going over there. All right, guys. Prepare for more drama. That's the only thing I can be bullish on, right? Yeah. All right.